Greetings. Welcome to BrewEdIsolation. Now, I love doodling, so when I'm in a meeting, I doodle with a purpose. I take key points and try and visualize them because it helps me to remember and it gives me a focus when I'm bored. Now, sketchnoting is just a visual way of making notes. We use small sketches to capture key points in meetings, and this dual coding can help us to remember better. I'm using Google Jamboard today because it's very simple, but all you need is a pen and paper. Now, information can be ordered in many different ways. It could be a mind map, a comic panel, flowcharts, timeline, spiral. The most important thing is that when you're sketchnoting, it helps you to remember. So you can structure it however you like. Now, today is all about having a visual library and building it up. And just like learning to read, the more you do, the better it gets. And Mike Rohde said, make ideas, not art. It's not about it being the prettiest thing. It's about ensuring that you can remember what you were thinking of when you were making these notes. So we've got 10 things to get through. First thing is bullet points. Bullet points can be very simple. They can just be circles. They can be squares. They can be triangles. It could be a star. It could be a crosshair, depending on if that's something that you want to shoot down. It could be a compass if you want to get a little bit more technical, or it could be a checkbox. It could be simple numbers, 1, 2, 3, or it could be dots. If you want to get really fancy, you could do some 3D bullet points. The key thing is that you know and understand what those bullet points mean to you. They mean different things to me, but this is the beauty of sketchnoting. It's all about you and remembering later. Next, we're looking at icons. It could be that something is absolutely a key piece of information. So you're going to draw a key and make sure that you put that information in there. It could be that you've got a mountain to climb, so you need to draw some mountains. Or it could be that you just want to remember that when you got to get back, you do the big order, so you're going to write some pencils. It could be that you need to write something down, or you're on a writing course. It could be that you have to have, or you have had, a light bulb moment. It could be that some things are in first place and some things are in second place, so you're going to do some rosettes. It could be that you just love something and you really, really love it. So you're going to draw some science, or it could be some love hearts, or you're going to do some science and you're going to draw a science conical. Anything can be an icon. Next thing that we're going to do is look at joining. Now, joining, just simple arrows. You've got your thick normal arrow here. You've got an arrow where it's dotted, where it might only be slightly linked. We've got a bullet point with an arrow there. And we've all been in those meetings where we've got to plan, do, review. So joining content, linking one thing to another, very simple. Call outs. It could be the most simple one, and the one that I use most is just drawing a nice rectangle, and then you've got the call out. It could be that you want to remind something later, so you want to have more of a shouty electronic call out. It could be that you want a typical cartoon call out. So you're going to do it in a circle, or it's something that you've got to remember for later. So you have a thinking bubble. All these call outs just help to highlight key parts of a seminar or meeting. Containers can just be something very simple, like a picture frame, or a bit more elaborate for a picture frame. But these are just ways of remembering key pieces of information. It could be that you do your normal rectangle, and just like we did on the bullet points, you make it into 3D. It could be that you use a scroll. So I'm going to use a scroll. There we go, round we go. And and then down. Blah, 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 blah. All very simple. My favourite, let's just get rid of these, is a banner, just like I had at the very beginning, where you write your heading. You put a rectangle box around it, 2 triangles at either side, and there we have a nice heading. We've also got faces. I'm going to draw some smiles on these ones, some neutral faces on these ones, and some sad faces on these ones. And from eyebrows, you can see that some things become more menacing. He just looks downright evil, and he looks like he's going to eat your mother. And if you put them up the other way around, he looks quite apologetic. He looked quite unsure, and this fellow looks quite sad. So just from a few strokes of your pencil, you can make lots and lots of different faces. People. Now everybody can draw a stick person. Dead easy. But you can use star people, where you might have them pointing at something, or even with their hands on their hips. But my favourite people, by far, are people like this. They can display a range of emotions, and just like the others, they can be pointing at something. Very simple. I quite like these though, because they're very simple to draw, and you can get them facing in different directions just by changing the way their feet are. So now these two are looking at each other. Very simple. Sometimes I don't even draw arms on them. Lettering. You need to practice your lettering. It might be that you want things bold, or you might want things fancy. And when you're printing, you might want something a little bit fancier. You might want to take your time a little bit on this one. Take your time. There we go. Dividers can be simple line arrows. It could be something with a little bit more of a flourish. You might just do line dot, line dot, line dot. These dividers are really just there to separate content. You might even fancy putting some flowers on here and there to make it a bit pretty if your meeting gets really boring. And finally, it's the never-ending visual library. Everything that's around you, from the trees to the sun to the birds to the lightning, you can just doodle. You might be sat on your computer at the moment. Get a piece of paper out, or on your iPad. Get a piece of paper out. And while people are sharing their ideas, or showing you videos on YouTube, you can increase your toolbox and get a pencil out and have a go. If you want some more information about sketchnoting, Mike Rohde is the guy to go to. His sketchnote handbook is excellent, and I would thoroughly recommend it. This is some of his work here. It's like a piece of art. If you're looking for an educator who sketchnotes, Paul Foster on Twitter is excellent. Thanks for watching my presentation. I've been Gaz Needle. Have a great day.